WLAF TV 12 do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, ownership, or advertisers of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
When every second counts, count on Vital Care MedTrans. You do have a choice when it comes to ambulance service in this area. So when you call 911, ask for the best.
Wait a minute, are you Vital Care?
Yes, we are.
Good.
State-of-the-art equipment and a well-trained staff who stand ready to respond to your call. That's Vital Care MedTrans, when nothing but the best will do.
Are we on, Honeybee? Thank you, Honeybee. Welcome to the show tonight. Remember our sponsors. If you need help, I was down at Vital Care today. Somebody else called in there wanting to make regular arrangements to pick them up, to take them to their destination. I think he said at least 2 times a week, sometimes 3. That's all you have to do is call that number and make your arrangement, and that's what they'll do. They'll put you on a regular schedule if that's what you need, and they'll take you to your destination where you need to go. I think this person was calling about diabetes treatments and dialysis, for diabetes is what I understood. So they just, they make regular arrangements, and they'll be right there on time, take you and bring you back when you need to come back. So if you need help from 911, just ask for Vital Care and send them your way. And then I also went down there to visit with Riggs Drugs today. Them folks down there are just like a well-oiled machine, getting folks in and out, and walk through the little knick-knack area. They got a lady standing there ready to help you anytime you want to go through there. They got all kinds of stuff in that store. Go down there and visit them down there. Talk to Bob or Bill. They're on hand all the time. One of them is. They'll talk to you, help you out with what you need. So go visit them down at Riggs Drugs. Tonight, we ain't going to talk about the usual stuff that we talk about. I've been amazed basically at the heathenness in this country. I don't know how else to say it, just the heathenness in this country. I'd like for somebody to explain to me whoever thought it would be a good idea and why all of a sudden somebody think it's a good idea that men and women should be using the same restroom, and the possibility of men or older boys going in the restroom with young girls in there. Okay? That's just the craziest thing I've ever heard, folks. That's, the human decency at some point in time has got to kick in and take back over in this country. All it can be for me, and some of you may disagree with this. If you do, that's your idea. I fully believe it's this way. Satan has got such a control over a lot of people, but mostly liberal thinking people, okay? And I'm not calling parties, I'm just saying liberal thinking people, okay, that thinks everybody in this country ought to be equal, okay? Folks, we ain't equal. I'm sorry, we're not equal. If we was all equal, God would have created everybody to be a man or a woman. We'd all been the same height, we'd have been the same size, we'd have had the same hair color, we'd had if we was all equal, we'd all look alike. Look around you. If you've got 2 or 3 people in the room, if you've got a crowd around you, look around you and see who looks just like you do. I bet there ain't one in there, okay, that looks just like you do. We ain't all equal. This business about we've got to treat everybody equal, and I think we ought to treat everybody fair, but you can't treat everybody as equals, and that's what they're trying to do. There's a difference about treating everybody fair and equal as to treating everybody as equals. We're not all equals. We never will be, okay? A man's got no business going in a women's restroom, and a woman don't have any business going in a man's restroom. It's the same way. And I especially would love to hear from some of you folks that have daughters or granddaughters. I got two sons. They're both in college age. One's going to the trade school down here, one's going to Rome State. I don't have a daughter, okay? So I can't walk in your shoes. I don't know how, but I'd like to hear from some of you folks that have daughters. I can't imagine anybody thinking it's okay to have your 10, 11-year-old daughter go into a restroom, and while she's in there, some 14, 15, 16-year-old boy, or even a 25, 30-year-old man come in there, and anybody think that's okay. I just don't see that that's being okay. I don't, I'm a Republican, and we've got a Republican legislature down there in the state of Tennessee. I don't understand why they are having to debate this thing. This thing to me is it's no nonsense. This thing should be passed. They're sitting there thinking, I read something the other day, the Attorney General says, well, we're going to lose federal dollars if we pass this thing and say that men can't go into a restroom with little girls, okay? Well, that's crazy, folks. That's just crazy, okay? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know what anybody would think that that's a good idea. I just don't get it, okay? I'd like to hear from somebody that thinks that's okay, okay? I'm not going to identify you, but I'd especially like to hear from people that have daughters that, it's crazy. You're on the air.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah.
You know what, buddy? I think that all that is just for attention. That's all it is. It's just for attention, and there's no difference. If you are a man, you obviously have the man parts. If you get transformed into a woman, you're going to have the woman parts. Go into a woman's bathroom.
Yeah.
Need a special bathroom. Go into the woman's bathroom, because obviously you have a female's parts. If you get transformed from a woman to a man, go into a man's bathroom, because you're going to be able to stand up and use it. It's just for attention. There ain't no difference. You can't be both. There's no both to it. You can be one or the other. There's no
Right.
There's no unisex in the world.
Right.
At all. And I think that this...
Well, now what about these people, I watch some TBS in the morning. I just admit it. I love watching Married with Children in the morning when I get up before I go to work. And on TBS, I'm seeing a lot of commercials that are they're either transgender sex shows that they're promoting or just plumb filth that they're promoting. TBS is starting to become a porn channel, in my opinion, in the evenings.
Exactly.
But what about these? There's one on there named RuPaul. In my understanding, that's a man that dresses as a woman. Never went through the operation, but is a man dresses as a woman. Where should that person use the restroom?
Exactly. You don't know what kind of parts he's got. You don't know what his status is as far as what he likes.
Right.
Or anything.
Right.
And he could go in the restroom with your little boy and be that likes boys, and he could do something to him. Or he could go into the restroom with your little girl and do something to her.
Right.
In those cases, in my book, he'd be gone. There'd be a threat eliminated there.
Right.
And, he'd be getting dispatched pretty quick. But just to save from all the uproar, just do your normal thing. Go to the bathroom, man.
Yeah. Well, I just, my point is, I'm not sure I'm understanding what you're saying. Men belong in the men's restroom, women belong in the women's restroom. If you're this RuPaul, if that actually is a man that's dressed as a woman, he still needs to be going in the men's restroom. Okay?
Exactly.
Or hopefully they have an individual restroom there for somebody like that to go to, because I don't know anybody that has a small boy or small girl would want him in there with either one of them.
Exactly. There needs to be a special restroom just for them. Because you don't know what their status is, you don't know what their intentions are, and to me, it's out there anyway that they're even doing that. So, it's kind of sketchy. You know what I mean?
Well, what we've got is we've got a bunch of liberal people in this country that, and people can say what they want to. I honestly believe that, because I'm a Christian person, I believe this thing is a fight between the devil and God. Now, God can stop this whenever he wants to. Okay, I had this discussion with somebody. God can stop this whenever he wants to. But the Bible clearly said God gives us the opportunity to make decisions in our life. Now, at some point in time, he's going to step in and say, you've messed this up enough. He did it in Sodom and Gomorrah. You've messed this up enough, and I'm going to stop it. Okay,
Well,
but for now, God's letting us make the decision, giving us an opportunity. Are we going to choose him, or are we going to go the other way? And right now in this country, we keep following the 1 or 2%, and the majority of people don't matter.
well, I'm just telling you right now, they don't want God to step in.
No, they don't.
Why? Because his hand will smite them. And it ain't no slight tap like a judge would do.
Right.
He is the judge. He's the main man.
Yeah.
He will put them down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. In the worst way, there won't be any other. And so,
Well, and the Bible says at some point in time, every knee is going to bow and confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. I confess it now. I hope you do too, but I do. But these people that are believing it's all right for a man to go into a woman's bathroom, at some point in time, whether it's now or later on, they're going to confess the same thing. And I don't want this to be totally a religious conversation, but I honestly believe that's where it all comes from. I think Satan has such control over some people in this country that they've taken this thing, because Christianity is the only religion that gets attacked in this country, as far as I can see.
exactly.
If you say something about a Christian, that's all right. That's okay. You got Muslims out there, not all of them, okay, but you got Muslims out there blowing people up at a family gathering, at a family amusement park, and if you talk bad about them in this country, oh my goodness, you've done the wrong thing. Don't you dare talk bad about them.
Exactly. This country was made on Christianity.
Yeah.
Built with Christianity. And to say that in the Bible it speaks of every nation falling.
Right.
Every king falling if they do not put God as the Most High.
And I think that's happening in our country. That's my point. That's part of my point to this. But even below that point is the fact that and I really would like to hear from some moms and grandmas, or maybe even dads that have daughters.
Oh, I have a daughter.
That just said, there's no way I want a man in the restroom with my daughter.
Exactly. It just what person's got, he's getting it.
Right. It just shouldn't happen. And I don't want when my boys were younger, I don't want a woman. Or a girl going into the men's restroom, who knows what could happen in that situation.
Exactly. And another situation that I would like to touch on is this fine for growing a garden.
Oh, I'm checking into that, and I got somebody, because I couldn't find, and I've got a Hazel Valley who calls in. He does a lot of research for me. He couldn't find the specific law that the person, I've got the envelope with the letter, could not find the specific law that this person was talking about on this garden. But there is.
Exactly. And I called the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
State government.
Yeah.
I talked to the state's lawyer.
Right.
And he told me there is no such law on the books. There's nothing on it.
Right.
I'm telling you, the reason being is because they cannot deny you your rights as a human, not as a constitution. The Constitution's all made up. Everything's been signed by humans, made it by humans.
Right.
And I'm just telling you right now that nobody can tell you cannot make your own food.
Oh, no. They're not telling you can't grow a garden, okay? But I can tell you, I've got the sheet here. I just can't find the law. Now, there is something called the Tennessee Water Quality Act of 1977, okay? And apparently part of that is, there's a document, I've got it right here in my hand, that says if you grow a garden, if it's over 150 acres, there's a $10,000 fee that goes with that. If it's 50 to 150 acres, there's a $6,000 fee, okay?
They should have said you cannot do certain things on your property when you pay your land taxes.
Yeah.
You get a discount for that. Even if you have 100 acres,
Yeah.
you're able to do whatever that 100 acres that you want because you own that property. That you pay the taxes on it, you pay the
Right.
on it. They should not be allowed to regulate that.
Well, apparently they do, because this person here I mean, I've got the document here where this person is, it says a notice of violation, okay? This person is being fined $250, and my understanding, a $100 assessment fee on top of that, for growing a garden over 100, it was over, I think it was 1.5 acres, which is obviously over an acre. There's a $250 fee, and because he didn't pay that, it's my understanding if the $100 goes with it.
If this person is Christian,
Yeah,
that is against his beliefs anyway. That is his freedom of religion.
to grow a garden?
Right. Yes, he has the right. It speaks in the Bible that we are to use all herb and livestock as we see fit. Not as the government, not as man sees fit, as we see fit individually.
Yeah.
And that right there is really unlawful to the Constitution.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with you on that, but and I appreciate you.
You can look it up in the Bible.
Well, I mean, Jesus carried a tax collector with him everywhere he went.
Yeah, but let's say you couldn't grow a garden and make your own food. What about the people that's a living man and they don't have a social security number and they're here in the U.S. They are.
Well, that's because the Democrat Party, they all vote for Democrats, and the Democrat Party has made that available to them. None of them vote for Republicans. I assure you that, because Republicans want them to all be registered and be proper and be legal. Democrats don't want them to do that because they vote for them every time. I mean, that really is that simple.
Well, if they ain't registered and legal, they can't vote for them.
No, they figure out a way for them to vote. Don't you? I'm a former election commissioner. Don't you believe they ain't figured out a way for them to vote? Now, maybe not here in Tennessee, but some of them other states. I bet you if you went to California, I bet you, I'm going to say probably at least 1 million illegal immigrants that are here probably vote every year.
Well, I'm just saying, and I know I might be wrong in people's eyes for saying this, but they need to throw out every change to the amendments, constitutions, everything. Throw it out and go back with the original 1776 Constitution.
Right.
That everyone signed in that room that day.
Yeah.
Go back to it. There's no changing it. Once it was signed, there was no, you can loop walls and all this crap. There was none of that in the Constitution. Once it was signed, it was final.
Right.
They have screwed this country. They have screwed it. I may be 22 years of age, but I can see that.
Yeah, well, this country ain't about the people anymore.
Exactly. The government runs the people.
The government runs the people.
Government.
Ronald Reagan made a statement one time, said the worst sentence he ever heard in his life was somebody knocked on his door and said, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you." He said that's the worst thing I ever heard in my life. So
government ain't ever helped me any.
No, they ain't gonna help. If you're a honest tax-paying citizen, they ain't gonna help you.
Exactly.
So that's just a fact. The government, our government, I'm not gonna say whether it's just this president or other presidents or what, but our government in most recent history seems to only care about the small minority of people over the majority.
Exactly.
They
care about the other nation's people more than their own.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a proven fact. We got veterans living on the street.
Exactly.
That got no health care, got no home to go to, and yet recently this government wants to bring in refugees by the hundreds of thousands from other countries and set them up, give them homes, give them jobs, give them help our veterans.
Some of those refugees they bring in, they background check them, all that, they check out. They get here, and guess what? They turn out to be, ISIS and all that. They turn out to be that. Why are we taking care of them when we can't even take care of our backyard?
Yeah.
There's kids out here in this county that are starving every single night. And we can't take care of them, but yet we can send billions of dollars overseas to take care of Joe Blow. We don't even know.
Right. Well, that's been going on forever. It doesn't matter what party's been in charge there. That's been going on forever.
They're wanting to kill us.
Yeah.
We are sending them money. What? Seriously?
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's been going on forever.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. So, folks, I'd like to hear from you about I mean, I've been reading some documents on this bathroom thing, and it's just amazing to me. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why our state legislature just can't take a vote and say, hey, if you're a man, you go in the men's room. If you're a woman, you go in the woman's room. That's it. This business about worrying about whether the federal government is going to cut off some funds or not over bathrooms, I don't get it. Right is right. Where is human decency? Human decency has to come in at some point in time. You're on the air.
Hey, Jerry,
Yeah.
I have a 16-year-old granddaughter.
Okay.
And ever since it's come up, I've been mad over the years.
Yeah.
But nothing has made me any madder than this. And let me tell you something. When my granddaughter goes in a bathroom and a man, and I know he's a man, is going in there, I'm going in there too.
Yeah.
I've got a grandson that's artistic. When he goes into a bathroom, I'll be in there too if I see a man not looking just right.
Yeah.
And let a man say something to me for protecting my 2 grandkids. I've raised these kids since they've been babies. I protected them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what God gave them to me, to protect them.
Right.
Yes, I will protect them. And I read something on Facebook today. It said, if a man did touch a child and the law is called, even though they gave the man a right to go in with a child, that child says he touched me, who is the law going to protect? The child or the man that was given this right to go into a bathroom with a child?
Right. Well, and see, and that brings up another subject, another thing, okay? If you're going to allow them to go into the restroom together, then we have a law on the book about indecent exposure.
Yeah.
That law's got to go away. I mean, if you're allowing them to go into the restroom, they're going to expose themselves to do the business they're doing in there. You can't be charging somebody for indecent exposure for allowing them to go in and do that kind of thing. So, I mean, indecent exposure is going to go out the window.
That's exactly what that person was trying to tell people.
Yeah.
If you let this happen, they're going to get by with a lot of things, and that's the truth. Am I mad? There's nothing makes me any madder is for somebody to hurt a child.
Yeah.
Don't hurt.
Well, and it's going to happen, and it's going to come down to the fact it's your word against, their word against theirs, and who do you believe? And, and the child, depending on the age of the child, is going to be under such trauma. Who's going to believe what? Because it's all hearsay at that point. Well, the child's saying this happened. The adult saying, no, nothing happened. How can you prove such a thing? There's still not going to be any video cameras in the restroom, so how can you prove such a thing unless somebody else comes in and actually sees it? This is a nonsense thing that just, logic just tells you it should not happen.
Thank you, Jerry, for letting me say.
Hey, that's fine. I want to hear some other folks, because this thing, I mean, our state representatives need to know, you need to quit talking about this thing and pass it. I mean, we've also got a situation where, I think in the state of Tennessee it's protected, but some other states, I think the governor of Georgia vetoed it, where there was a law to protect preachers who didn't want to be forced to marry same-sex couples. Okay?
Yeah.
Folks, Satan has got control of a lot of people in this country, and they're in high places, and they're dictating what's going on. That's just all there is to it. You can believe it what you want to. You can call me crazy, but I believe that's what's happening.
That's me, Jerry. I'm with you 100%.
So, okay, thank you, ma'am. So, but that's just what I believe, folks. And I believe, I've told people, and I know this ain't going to happen. You look at some situations, for me, I look at some situations and I look what some people are saying. And I'm thinking, I'd love to be standing there when this person faces God at the judgment seat one day. And that's just a human thing. And I know that's wrong, and it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that way. But I mean, you look and think, the way they're acting, unless something changes in their life, it can't go well. It just can't go well. This business, where in this country, in my opinion, where we're trying to legitimize and normalize perverts, that's my opinion. We're trying to legitimize and normalize perverts and pervertisms and sexual predators even, okay? Because, I mean, no man in his right mind, to me, in his right mind, is going to want to be going into the women's restroom knowing there's 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girls in there, okay? A man in his right mind, to me, just wouldn't do that, okay? That's just how I feel about it, I just don't see it, so, but I'd like to hear from some more of you on that, or, we may move on to something else. But I wanted to talk about that because I read this thing about how Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert over in North Carolina over this thing, and there's a former state senator put something out on Facebook, and this is true, folks. When a baker is what he says, when a baker or a photographer refuses service to somebody based on that person's personal belief, they are taxed, fined, harassed, and have their business license removed. And that actually happened. There was a person that made cupcakes and wedding cakes and pastries and things like that. And these were Christian folks. And I think it was two gay men come in and wanted these people to make them a wedding cake. And these folks, based on their religious belief, told them no. These folks could have went elsewhere, okay? They probably picked that business just because it was a Christian and they wanted to make that challenge, okay? And this business people told these folks, no, we're not going to make you a cake, you can go elsewhere. Well, they filed a complaint with the city, and the city it took a little while. If I remember right, they shut that business down because they wouldn't make the cake for these two homosexuals, okay? And if you remember this county clerk up in Kentucky last year, okay, Kim Davis, I believe was her name, she didn't want to have her signature on marriage license going out to homosexual couples, whether it's men or women, and the homosexual network of people, they started having folks from all over the country going to that county to try to get a license. Not because they wanted to be married there, just because they wanted publicity and they wanted that challenge and they wanted to get that person, Miss Davis, kicked out of her position, okay? I mean, why would somebody from Ohio or Illinois or even California want to go to that little county down in Kentucky to get a marriage license, okay? It's nothing more than they're trying to force their way of life on everybody else in this country. And it's come down to this bathroom thing. This is just nuts, folks. This is nuts, okay? You don't turn around and look at this thing. Again, go back to this equality thing, okay? We're not equal. We're just not. We're never going to be, okay? There may be, a lot of people say my little brother Chad and I look just alike, okay? I'm 15 years older than Chad, or 14, something like that. I'm not even sure how much older I am than him. I don't remember how old he is even. But I'm older than Chad, okay? I think I'm a little taller than Chad. To me, he's a little rounder than I am, okay? But Chad and I are not equal, even though we're brothers and we look alike, we're not equal, okay? I've got sisters. They're not equal, So I just don't get this, why in this country the minority of people, and they're backed by the Liberal Party, okay? The Liberal Party is pushing this thing where they want to make sure that the minority views in this country are pushed off on everybody else, but mainly, if you look at it, it generally always comes down to it, mainly at the expense of Christians, okay? Mainly at the expense of Christians. Anytime these liberals get an opportunity to attack Christianity, however they have to do it, they're going to attack Christianity. Okay. Now I had a conversation with a couple of Christian people this week, and they said it's time for Christians to stand up and do this and do that. Christians have been standing up, folks. Christians have been standing up. They've tried to get things done. Our government don't want to listen to Christians. It's that simple. Does not want to listen to Christians. Okay. Now I wish every Christian person out there would go vote. It probably doesn't happen. Okay. If more Christians would go vote, could make a difference. Okay. People don't realize how important voting is. They think you hear it all the time. Everybody's heard it. My vote doesn't matter. Well, my little one vote doesn't matter. Okay. I can tell you this. When I was on the election commission, I think it was 2009 or 2010, something like that, we had a school board election, okay? During my term, we had a school board election, okay? Faye Heatherly lost by 2 votes. 2 votes, folks. If 3 more people had went and voted for Faye Heatherly, she would have won that. Tell me your little vote doesn't matter, okay? Now, Faye ran again later on, and she won. She got her seat back. But I remember very well that Faye Heatherly lost by 2 votes. I mean, nobody in that room could believe that election came down to 2 votes, okay? But, was there 3 friends of Faye Heatherly's that didn't go vote? That if their vote would have been cast, she would have won that election? Faye was one, I'll guarantee you, if you ask her, she'll tell you, every vote counts. Go vote, okay? I remember that election, and like I said, she came back the next time and ran again, and she won her seat back, okay? But in that one election, it was by 2 votes, if I remember correctly. Every vote counts. Every vote matters. So, well, let me move on. If nobody's interested in talking about that, let me, you're on the air.
Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
what was that question that you asked me last week about core drilling?
I think I asked you, why are you opposed to getting your property core drilled?
Well, I'm not opposed, but I just don't see why we should have to have it core drilled, just because Mike Stanfield got a tractor stuck in it on that property in 1974. That's the only reason he gave us.
Is that what he said?
That's just exactly what he said.
Oh, okay.
And they've been a building on there for 20, 21 years, and it's not went anywhere.
Oh, okay. But irrespective of all of that, okay, I've been to a couple of those meetings, and they've told you if you will get that property core drilled and it passes the core drilling, they will give you the permit to build. So why are you opposed to doing what they've asked you to do?
Well, that's not exactly what they said.
That's what they said when I was there.
Listen, let me explain it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
They said that they passed the ordinance. Anybody that put up a new structure or added on to their building,
Right.
they would have to have the property core drilled.
Okay.
It was not only for us, it was for everybody else.
I don't care about anybody else. We're talking about you. You called here and you asked me a question. I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about anybody else. At the meeting I was at, and I think it was at 2 different ones, that you got up and they told you if you will get that property core drilled and it passes the core drilling, they will give you the permit to build the building you're wanting to build, okay? I'm not talking about anybody else in town. To me, it's got nothing to do with anything, okay? If you have a problem with them showing favoritism over somebody else, fight that battle later on. At this point, the last I heard at 2 different meetings that I was at, again, they told you, get the property core drilled. If it passes the core drilling, they'll give you your permit. I don't understand, and I'm not fussing with you, I'm just having a discussion. I don't understand why you keep wanting to say, well, he didn't do it, he didn't do it, he didn't do it. They told you, you do it, and if it passes, they'll give you the permit.
Why should we have to?
Because they told you to, that's why. That's the law in the city of La Follette. That's the law.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
Not the law.
Oh, okay.
It absolutely is not the law, because if it was the law, everybody, once again, if that was the law, Jerry, everybody in La Follette would have to provide for that law, not just one person.
Okay, I've not talked to everybody in La Follette. I don't know what they did. All I know was the meeting I was at, they told you, get the core drill, get it passed, and we'll give you the permit.
I know just exactly what they told me.
Okay, so I'm asking you, why do you not want to get it core drilled?
I don't have the money to get it core drilled.
There you go. Okay, but you don't have the money to get it core drilled, but you have the money to build a building.
Exactly right. Why should I blow $75,000?
Because they told you to.
Take it exactly right, just because they said to.
Right.
But guess what? I'm not going to have a core drill.
Well, then you're not going to build a building.
Oh, yes, I am. You watch me.
Well, and I wish you success. I mean, I know who you are. Your husband is, and you may have worked on. Your husband fixed my vehicle one time, and it worked great. It was just fine. Okay?
Yeah.
So and if I had another issue like that, I'd certainly bring it to you folks. You do good work. Okay, but on this issue, you have those zoning requirements in that city of La Follette, and to me, they're to be followed.
Well, once again, Jerry, they have been a beauty shop one night.
I've got nothing. I don't care about the beauty shop. I don't care the first thing about the beauty shop. Okay.
Weigels didn't core drill.
I don't care the first thing about Weigel's core drilling. Okay. If they didn't ask Weigel's to core drill, that's their business. I know they asked you to get a core drill.
Why should they ask me to core drill?
Evidently, there is a feeling there's some issues with that property.
No, there's not, because if there's issues with that property, that building wouldn't be standing down there.
Well, now, that building's not standing on the piece of property that they're wanting you to get core drilled. Am I correct about that?
Yes, it is. We're just going to put an addition onto our building.
So,
It's on the same identical piece of property.
it's on what?
It's on the same piece of property. We was just going to extend their building
Okay,
with the building that's on there now. That's what
Okay.
I'm trying to say.
but you're going to extend it. How far are you going to extend it?
Well, they, when we first got the building that's on there now approved, they approved it for a 50 or 40 by 100 or 50 by 100.
Yeah.
And now they're saying it's already been approved. The state approved it, the city approved it. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you, you can ask Cliff Jennings, because he was the mayor at the time.
Yeah, my understanding, what was that, 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, why didn't you build the building then?
Well, they approved it again in either 2000 or 2001.
15 years ago.
Ronnie had a massive heart attack.
Okay,
He was out of work for 3-4 months. And then he had 2 minor heart attacks, and then he had a bad massive heart attack.
you working that man too hard.
So we did not get this built. Well, we went back to him.
Yeah,
They told us that we could build again. And then he had the heart attack. And we have kids. We had 2 in college. Well, one graduated, but she's going back to LMU. We've got a son. There's going to be a son. I mean, we can't go out here and blow money and give it away. To me, that's giving $7,500 away.
No, that's not giving it away. That's making an investment.
And
That's making an investment, okay? Because how are you gonna feel, let's say how you're gonna feel if you build that building, you expand that building or whatever, and your husband's in there working and that thing caves in, okay?
well, it's not going to so far.
Well, but you're not on that piece of land where you're talking about building the expansion.
Yes, we are.
No, you're on the land that you're on. That expansion's gonna go, is it gonna go on top of what you're on now?
No.
No, it's gonna go out from it, so you're not on that land yet.
They said, when we called the core drillers, they said that you did not have to have a property core drill if it was no more, if it was a single story, you did not have to have a core drill, but if it's 2 stories or more, you would have to have a core drill.
The core drills don't make up the rules in the city of La Follette. Those people that do the core drills don't make up the rules in the city of La Follette.
City of La Follette makes up their own rules,
Well, that's what you elect them to do.
and they don't.
That's what you elect them to do.
Everybody go by 'em.
Huh?
They do not make everybody go by the rules that they do set.
Right,
It's just certain people,
right.
and you know it, and I know it.
I don't know a whole lot about the city of La Follette. I don't, I mean, you've seen, I don't get down there to those meetings often. But the couple of times I've been there, the last year and a half, 2 years, happened to be times that you all got up and discussed that issue, and you were told the same thing both times that I was there. Get your core drill, get it approved, and we'll give you your permit to build the building. I heard them say that to you twice.
We are not being treated right, Jerry.
Okay, well, and I understand why you feel that way, okay? But my feeling is, and I may be wrong, but my feeling is, I understand it's gonna cost, somebody told me $5,000, you say $7,500, I have no idea, okay? But to me, whatever that fee is, it's an investment, okay? It's also an investment in safety and security to know that there's no caverns under there, there's no sinkholes under there, that you're not building something on top of caverns and sinkholes, to think that your husband's in there working on that building with the possibility of it falling in while he's in there working.
There are no sinkholes under that building. The state of Tennessee gave us the letter to clear that property. They filled it in 1960.
They filled it in 1960.
They sure did.
Okay, so there is a sinkhole there.
No, there's not.
There was one, but somebody filled it in, is what you're saying.
No, they said that it was not considered a sinkhole. It was just where the water ran off.
Yeah,
A sinkhole is something that goes in the ground with no stopping to it. That's a sinkhole.
right,
Like they got that parking lot built on across the road over there.
yeah,
When you heard that cage in there, that is a sinkhole. And they got the parking lot right on top of it.
right,
That's a sinkhole.
yeah. And it may be a weight issue, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the issue is. I really don't. I've not asked anybody about it, okay? All I know is what I've said. Get the permit, get the cleared core drill, and they'll give you a permit. It really is that simple.
No, it's not that simple.
The other thing is, you'll get you an attorney and fight it.
They just want to bully somebody.
I don't know that it's bullying. I think they're, some of them's trying to follow the laws they have on the books. So,
What you call it is a personal vendetta.
okay, I don't know anything about that. So, I got another caller. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're on the air. You're on the air. Somebody must have called just to get me to hang up on her. So I'd say that's what that call was about. So, but she had a proper discussion. She's a business owner in the city of La Follette. She feels like she's being treated unfairly. That's her feeling, her husband's feeling. When you've got zoning rules and building rules and all that, and my understanding is there has been a known problem on some of these properties. I think the city just wants to know for sure. This is what I understand. The city wants to know for sure that property is cleared to build a building on, to handle the weight, that it's not going to cave in. before they give a building permit to build on that property. That's, that's the way I understand it. Okay? So, from the meetings that I was at, when that was being discussed, that's just, so I can't say it any other way, but, I understand that they don't, so you're on the air.
How are you doing tonight, Sheriff?
I'm doing good.
I'm going to let you know I was absolutely irate after I read the story in the Christian Journal
About,
the Slusher case.
I didn't read it. What did it say?
It said that they had come to an agreement, and part of the agreement, it said as part of the settlement, Slusher's wife, Marilyn, agreed to issue an official apology.
Yeah, I know that was read into the record.
They already got blood money.
And they did get blood money. I'll call it that. You call it that. That's my opinion, your opinion.
That's my opinion, and if they want my name, you
Yeah.
know who I am,
Yeah.
give it to them if they call.
That's my opinion too. It's blood money. That's all it is. The man's dead. He's passed away. He's gone. When somebody's dead, passed away and gone, that's the only thing you can call it after that's blood money.
And then to ask that his wife apologize when she had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Well, I've got news for a couple of our county commissioners, Marie Ayers and Butch Colmeyer. They will be defeated in the next election.
Well, now if you don't vote for them, I don't know, but they might sue you because you didn't vote for them. I don't know.
Well, they can sue all they want to.
I don't know if if you don't give them your vote, they could, my opinion, they could take that as an offense, and you hurt their feelings and you offend them, so they might sue you.
Well, ever since this paper's come out, I've talked to, I know, over 100 people, and they were just as irate about it as I was.
Right.
That they would do something like that. Said, I guarantee you one thing, they won't prosper by it. They will not prosper.
Yeah.
And they will stand before a judge one day.
Right.
And they're not going to get by with it.
Yeah. I didn't read the article. I know Mike Zawinski sometimes watches the show. Mike, if you're watching the show, call in and tell us what was in the article. I didn't see the article. I didn't get to see it. We've been covered up. We've been pretty busy. It's been, we've been going all hours of the day. I haven't had time to read it. I didn't see it. So
When they got before the judge, they had already come to a settlement.
they did, and Marilyn won't tell me or my wife either. And that's part of the settlement is you don't talk about it. Okay, so.
Yeah.
She didn't tell us about it. My wife has asked her, and she won't tell her. She won't tell my wife about it. Like I say, when you agree to that kind of thing, and sometimes secrecy is part of the agreement, and she won't discuss it with us. So, and I don't blame her. I mean, all Marilyn wanted was get out of it, get it over with, and they got an insurance settlement, is my understanding of the insurance company. And Marilyn didn't tell me this. I'm just guessing that the insurance company paid some kind of a settlement just to make the thing go away.
Yeah, but why did they ask that be part of the agreement?
I don't have any idea. I
It's
wasn't,
as low and dirty as
yeah.
lower than a snake on the ground.
Yeah, I had, until it actually happened in court, I didn't know it was going to happen. Marilyn didn't tell me and my wife anything about what was going on, and I'm sure her attorney told her, don't discuss this with anybody. And,
This is what it said right in the paper.
okay,
As part of the settlement, Slusher's wife, Marilyn, agreed to issue an official apology to Ayers and the Senior Citizen Center.
yeah.
But they had nothing to none of them.
When I think the apology, I'll see if I can find it. I'm on WLAF's website, and I think the apology is actually on the WLAF's website. what was read into the record, I think is is it in that paper?
No,
No?
it's not in the paper.
I'll see if I can find it real quick. We got about 10 more minutes before the show goes off. I'm thumbing through here, see if I can find it, and I'll read you what WLAF's article says. I think it's in here. I'm still going. A lot of information on this website.
Oh, yes.
So, some of it I don't agree with, and but most of it I do, and especially when they put my picture on there last week, I agreed with that. Did you see my picture with Mr. Fannin?
See it.
They put my picture with Mr. Fannin on their website, just the fact that we did that show. So,
Well, I am so glad that he is running.
well, I think we got somebody who's running that actually got their heart in doing something for Campbell County.
Oh,
Hey, I got another call, but I'm gonna keep looking for this. If I find it, I'll read it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. You're on the air.
Hey, big guy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I want to point out, for clarity's sake,
Yeah.
Jim Slusher has not apologized to anybody.
No.
So any apology that was made is moot and totally irrelevant.
Well, it's already gone off the website, so it's not there.
And it was only made to make certain people feel a little better.
Yeah, I don't know why it was made. I really don't. I don't, you know.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if Jim is dead, he's not apologizing.
Right.
Any apology that was demanded or required is totally irrelevant and was only required because somebody had their feelings hurt.
Right.
You know,
I guess. I don't know. I don't.
what happened to the good old days when somebody said something you didn't like, you went down and whooped their butt or either got whooped, and it was over.
Right.
You know, I just can't understand where manhood is gone. You know, or womanhood.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out, that Jim Slusher has not apologized to anyone, and any apology that was made without his permission. It's moot and totally irrelevant. Just to put a little salve on somebody's wound.
Well, that letter's not on here. It's already gone off they've taken it off the web page here.
My opinion, big guy.
I understand what you're saying. I wanted to read, you know, I know when it first happened, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
You know, it was last week, wasn't it?
yeah, well,
I would have thought that would still be on here, but it's not on here anymore.
oh yeah.
So, but I think they had the content of the letter of apology on WLF's website.
WLF needs to start thinking about archival, where you can go back and look up old stories.
You know, I thought at one time they had that, and I don't think they do.
I don't think they're archiving themselves the way they ought to. A lot of blogs do that. They archive all their articles,
Right.
and keep a history of everything where you can go back and look at it. Sometimes about a year and months. But WLF hasn't done that, so they need to be thinking along those lines. But anyway, great
Right.
show, big guy.
So,
Keep it up.
hey, did you look those documents up?
Are you talking about the garden?
Yeah.
No, I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Boy, you're pitiful.
Well, I've been watching your show.
Oh, I got you. Well, can't you do both at the same time?
No, I can't do.
Okay.
See, this is a different room from my computer.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, good night.
Now, I want to cover a couple of local issues we got, folks, and this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Okay. Apparently, this weekend, the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce has announced. You're on the air.
What if someone sued Marie Ayer's husband and he committed suicide? Would she give an apology? Would you want them to give an apology? If the shoe was on the other foot, would you change your mind and want an apology from them instead of blowing it off and sweeping it under the rug like it's no big deal?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, but we'll never find out.
Yeah. Well, I hope we don't, because I don't want her husband to commit suicide. You know, I certainly don't want that to happen. Are you still there? No, okay, thank you. I don't want anybody committing suicide, and that's just, obviously, I certainly didn't want Mr. Slusher to do that, okay? So this, I'd rather not even think along those terms. I understand the lady's questions, but, anyway, the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce has announced this coming weekend, April 15th through April 17th, is Shop Local Weekend, okay? They're encouraging all the citizens to shop locally, okay? And this is a great idea, folks. A big push on keeping your income, your spendings, and your tax dollars in Campbell County this one weekend. We know everybody's not going to be able to do that, but as much as you can, shop locally, support your local businesses. Hey, get out and go down there and walk down the city of La Follette. Just go in and out of those shops down there. See what they got going on. There's stores down there that I bet you didn't even know was down there. There's one fella has got he's been there I think a year or two. He's got a collectible store down there. I've been in it. You can find some of the oddest, oldest things that you thought that you probably saw when you was kids you didn't know still existed, and I bet he's got some of it down there, down here to some of these shopping centers down here. I've been in Ron's golf cart that advertises with RL a lot. They've got a bunch of stuff in there that I'm telling you, you don't think you've ever seen any of that, okay? Riggs Drugs, you go down Riggs Drugs, especially the one down La Follette, and I think the one down Jacksboro is on a smaller scale. You go in Riggs Drugs, they've got, I don't know what it's officially called, but I know they've got a little knick-knack sections, what I call it. They've got a bunch of cute little stuff down there. A lot of things that you're thinking, who would have ever thought of that? Who would have thought to do that? And it's a cute thing. You might want it in your house, So, but I think it's a good idea that the Chamber of Commerce, John Branham, them folks down there at Chamber of Commerce have got on board, saying, hey, this weekend, let's try to do what we can to shop locally, keep your dollars at home, keep your tax dollars here, I just think that's a good idea, okay? I think they do it one other time during the year. I think they do it in the fall also. I believe they do it, and we'll talk about it then too. But it's just a good idea. We need to support. The county. Okay. Also, I have read that if you get WLAF's webpage, go on there. County Mayor E.L. Morton came out with I think he called it his spring summarization of what's going on, in the county. It looks like if some of these things come to fruition, somebody's possibly getting ready to move into the old A&S Steel building, and they've got another business that I think is going to go into. They're looking at trying to get into the Caryville Industrial Park. So it looks like that Mayor Morton and his staff have possibly got some good things going on about bringing some industry to Campbell County. It's a long process, folks. So it looks like it, and I've been critical of Mayor Morton, but if these things come to fruition, I'm going to give him as much credit as he deserves. I do that. Okay, I'll be glad to do it. I got in touch with Andy Wallace and asked him if he'd like to come on the show and talk about some of these things, and he refused. He said no, he wasn't interested in doing that, but that's all right. We'll still give him credit. If some of these come to fruition, they're going to be bringing some jobs here. So we just pray that happens. So, Honeybee, we about ready?
You got about 15 seconds.
15 seconds. Folks, I appreciate you indulging me tonight. The bathroom thing, it's something I just wanted to talk about. And, I think in the end, Christianity is going to win. Christ is going to win this fight. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
When every second counts, count on